Krishna Pada Sahagam Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tat Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashanta Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So in the last session we discussed, anyone remembers? Just to recap from the last session. Do you remember one of the opulence of Krishna, or how he manifests his opulence without seeing the book? If something has really captivated you, any of Krishna's opulence. You came in the last session? Okay.
He is telling that I am able. He's giving examples of mountains, like Meru.
Yes. Meru we discussed last to last class. Yeah. So amongst the mountain, he is the Mount Meru. Good. And amongst all the rishis, he is Bhrigu. Okay, good. Then so many qualities we discussed. Yeah.
Among the Rudras, he is not Shiva.
Okay. Among the Rudras, he is not Shiva. Yes.
One sense of Aditi, he
Yeah.
is Vamana.
He is Vishnu. Yeah. Okay. And very important, you have all missed out, which we keep missing. What was the most important thing? Yajna now, Japa Yajyo Asmi. Very deliberately we want to avoid it. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is very emphatically declaring that amongst all the sacrifice, the highest sacrifice, the best sacrifice that is represented, is a representation of Krishna, is to perform yajna in the form of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is one of the most important manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Actually, with our material vision, we will not be able to see the Supreme. Can we see our mind? Can we see our intelligence? Can we see our soul? Can we see? Do we have any possibility? We can, if we get purified, if we get spiritual vision. But till the time we have spiritual vision, we have to depend on our material vision. But if we develop the soft vibration, that is by chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then the Supreme Lord agrees to manifest himself. So we can see the Lord through the sound, through the ears. Through the ears we can see the Lord. Because if we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this sound vibration it enters the ear hole, and through the ear hole, it enters the heart. And in the heart, there is the awakening of the soul. And when the awakening of the soul is, the super soul is along with the soul. Then there is only possibility. So our mind will say, Krishna is recommending to chant, and our mind says, can't. Choice is yours. Whom you want to follow. Okay, going further forward on the 26th verse, the Supreme Lord says how to see his divine manifestation in this entire creation. Okay, so amongst those who are immovable, Sthavara Himalaya, that amongst those who are immovable, he is the great giant mountain Himalaya. Then who is he among the trees? Next comes Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam Devarishinam Chanarada Gandharvanam Chitraratha Siddhanam Kapilo Muni Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam Devarishinam Chanarada Gandharvanam Chitraratha Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. Please recite. Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam Devarishinam Chanarada Gandharvanam Chitraratha Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. Good. Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam Devarishinam Chanarada Gandharvanam Chitraratha Very good. Very good. That those who have not chanted. Work.
Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam
Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam
Devarishinam Janarada
Devarishinam Chanarada
Gandharvanam Chitraratha
Gandharvanam Chitraratha
Siddhanam Kapilo Muni.
Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. Okay, thank you. So Krishna continues to speak about his divine opulence, how he pervades the entire creation, and how he is represented in each and every species of life. So he says that Sarva Vrikshana, amongst all the trees, there are how many trees? Millions. Millions of species of trees. He says amongst all the trees, if you want to see my representation, then Krishna selects Ashwatha. Ashwatha is the banyan tree. क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में बरगद का पेड़. Have you seen a banyan tree? It is big. It is colossal. And what is the duration of banyan tree? It can survive for hundreds of years. Continuous. What is the national tree of India? Banyan tree. What is the biological name? Yeah, it is difficult. It's that tongue twister. Yeah, ficus. Okay. Better for me is to say ficus. It is also the national tree of the country. Twice Krishna will talk about Ashwatha. Here he is saying that he pervades the entire world through his manifestations, and among the trees, he is Ashwatha. And in the 15th chapter also, he will speak about this Ashwatha. Urdha Moolam, Ardha Adashaka. Ashwatram Prahor, Avyayam. It is Avyayam, it is limitless. So Krishna says that there are many, many merits of the banyan tree. One of the biggest merit of the banyan tree is its longevity. It can get support from its branches. You've seen the roots come out from the branches to support. So the banyan tree, okay, Krishna says, I am the banyan tree among the vrikshas. And Krishna first talk about Maharshi names. Amongst the sages, I am Maharshi. We are on verse 26. And now he says, among the Deva Rishis. So there are many categories of rishis. Like you have many categories of people, local. Yeah. So amongst the Devas, Devas are demigods. And amongst the demigods, there is also rishis, sages. So those who are the sages of the demigods. So amongst all the great sages of the demigods, Krishna selects Narad Muni. He says Dev Rishi Namcha Narada, found it. And he says amongst the Gandharva Nam Chitraratha. So Gandharvas are the celestial beings. They are on the higher planets than the earthly planets. And they have a very special endowment quality. The Gandharvas can sing very, very, artistically. They are endowed with the special skills of music, singing, and dancing. In ISKCON, if we see a devotee who has both the talents, so the first question is whether in the last life he was a Gandharva. So these are the living beings in the higher planets where they are very fond of music and they have exceptional talent for singing and dancing. A Gandharva can sing or dance for 72 hours continuously. One of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate, Vakrishwar Pandit, he used to dance for a prolonged period of time. And he was so absorbed in dancing for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya that he would never stop. But people would get fatigued singing, they would stop and leave. So he requested Lord Chaitanya to grant him 10,000 Gandharvas. 10,000 Gandharvas. So he can incessantly sing and dance for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya. So he says that amongst the Gandharvas, the chief of them is Chitraratha. Actually, he is also the son of Kashyap Muni. I think there were 16 Gandharvas amongst one of the wives of Kashyap Muni. Kashyap Muni had two wives, we discussed. Who were the two? Aditi and Diti. Kashyap Muni also has a wife who is Muni. And from her, 16 Gandharvas were born. And amongst all those Gandharvas, Chitraratha is the foremost. Actually, Chitraratha is also the friend of Arjuna. When Arjuna was in exile, so he had gone to the heavenly planets. And when he had gone to the heavenly planets, he had to learn the art of singing and dancing. Later he became Brihagalal. So who taught him singing and dancing? Chitraratha. Chitraratha taught him. So of the Gandharvas, I am the Chitraratha. And amongst perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Siddharam Kapilo. He is the great sage Kapil. Kapil Dev, the son of Mother Devavati. He is a partial manifestation of the Supreme Lord Himself. Let us see the translation. Of the trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages, I am the Of the sages amongst the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And amongst perfected being, I am the sage Kapila. So Prabhupada says in the purport that the banyan tree Ashwatha is one of the highest and most beautiful trees. Why it is beautiful? Do we see any beauty? Huh? Materially, do we see any beauty in the banyan tree? Do we see any beauty? No, but it is a worshipable tree. You see many Indian ladies, they worship the trees. And one of the maximum worship is this is recommended. So we should worship. If one has to worship the tree, there's only one tree to be worshipped, which is the Ashwatha tree. Why? Because it is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord's divinity. People in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Okay, so let's be talking about a little more about this tree. So here the positivity of this tree is being mentioned because it is the representation of Krishna, Krishna's opulence. And in the 15th chapter, we will see Krishna will talk about this in a negative representation. That this tree is the negative representation of the illusion. And entanglements in this tree is considered how that the soul is bound to the material world. So Krishna is mentioning this tree as one of his manifestations. The significance it that it is having longevity. It has the tendency to create its own roots, aerial roots, and it symbolizes eternal life, strength, and all pervasive nature. And amongst the demigods, they also worship Narad, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Hare Krishna. Here, sit and hear. See the book, sit and hear. So, amongst the sages of the demigods, Narad is prominent. Naradji is one of the Mahajans. He is one of the authorities. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 12 authorities. Anyone knows? First is Swayambhu. Who is Swayambhu? Huh? No? Who? Lord Shiva? No. Swayambhu.
It appears by
Ah, that is Brahmaji. Swayambhu. Second is Narada. Second is Narada. And third is Shambhu. So Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumaro Kapilo Muno Prahlado Janako Bhishmas Balivaya Sakivaya. There are 12 great authorities on the spiritual truth. And what we have to do, we have to follow in their footsteps. Not try to do anything new. Because if we follow these great Mahajans or these Acharyas, then we will achieve success for sure. And if we try our own, then what will be the result? That the illusionary energy will spoil our efforts. So, Narad Muni has many transcendental qualities. One of the foremost quality is whoever is in whatever situation, however abominable he may be in his spiritual position, Narad Muni has the potency to make him a pure devotee. What are the examples? Any examples of Narad Muni? Prahlad was, yes, Prahlad. Prahlad was a saintly from birth. But even if one is very rough, he's a ruffian, Narad Muni can convert him to become a pure devotee. Yes, very good. Valmiki. Valmiki, what was his name? Migrari also, Ratnakar. He was a Ratnakar, robber, big robber, and a killer. But when he came in touch with Narad Muni, that is the potency of a pure devotee. Like if you have touchstone, whatever comes in touch, it will get transformed. It will get converted into gold. So Narad Muni can convert anyone and everyone to become a pure devotee. So many, even the two most of our scriptures, that is Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana, both is the gift of Narad Muni. Narad Muni inspired Valmiki to give Ramayana, and Narad Muni also inspired Vyasadeva to give Srimad Bhagavatam. And amongst his foremost disciples, there is Prahlada and Dhruva. Dhruva, a 5-year-old boy, would achieve the highest perfection by the blessings of Narad Muni. And Narad Muni has the potency of granting devotion. He has Bhakti Shakti. He is also one of the Saktyavesh avatar. There are 6 types of incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Amongst them, there is one Shaktyavesh. Avesh means entry. Entry of what? Of Shakti, of the potency. Whose potency? The Supreme Lord. When the Supreme Lord, his potency enters the living entity and he empowers the living entity to perform extraordinary function, that is called Shakti Avesha. There are many examples of Shakti Avesha. One of the examples is Narad Muni. Vyasadeva is also Shakti Avesha. Our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada is also Shakti Avesha. Otherwise, not single person can propagate in the entire world Krishna consciousness. I mean, even after he left, it is more than 50 years now. Krishna consciousness is spreading like fire everywhere in the world. So the Supreme Lord, he selects a person and he injects his potency in that person to perform his service. So that is the quality of Narad Muni. Narad Muni has many more qualities. Hare Krishna, please come. Come sit here. We have front seat for you. He is also a transcendental spaceman. You sit there. Okay. Be comfortable there. He can travel, seemingly anywhere in the world. You've seen Narad Muni? He has his veena, his musical instrument, and reciting the glories of Narayan, he can enter anywhere. So Krishna is saying, and he is also very detached, very renounced. And he is fully situated in transcendental knowledge. So Krishna says here that amongst the demigods, they also worship Narad, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Thus, he is a representative of Krishna as a devotee. That is Narad Muni. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully. And amongst them, the best singer is Chitraratha. To be discussed, Chitraratha is the son of Kashyap and who is the mother? Muni. Very good. Muni. Where is your notebook? Both of you don't bring your notebook? And use it. What about you? So far, you have not started. And the Chitraratha, amongst the perfect living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is the representative of Krishna. So Kapil Dev, his teachings and his contributions are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam very elaborately. In the 3rd canto, there are at least 10 chapters which are dedicated on Lord Kapil. Lord Kapil is the son of Devahuti. And who is the father? Kardama Muni. Very good. Kardama. So Kardama Muni performed great austerities. And Devahuti is the daughter of Manu. And she assisted Kardam Muni in performing the austerities. And when the Supreme Lord is pleased with Kardam Muni's austerity, he appears. And both of them desire to have a son like the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord says, Vishnu, how can there be a son like me? Then what I have to do? I have to appear as a son for you. That should be the aspiration. Do we ever desire? We will be desiring some so-called cinema star or a cricket star. Not the Supreme Lord. That is the highest quality of becoming mother, is to have Supreme Lord appear or his Amsha to appear. So Kapil Muni or Kapil Dev, when he was born, his father immediately, Karda Muni, he went for his perfection. He went to the forest. And Devahuti was left, the mother and the son. And the son became the teacher and the mother became the student. And Kapil Muni has given the elaborate teaching of Sankhya Yoga, the distinction between matter and spirit, how to distinguish between matter and spirit. The very detailed discussion in Srimad Bhagavatam. And very, very beautiful verses where Kapil Muni tells mother that Prasangam Majaram Pasham Atmana Kaviyo Vido Sayev Sadhu Sakrito Mokshadvaram Upavita. So in this material world, if you have material affiliations and if you continue to live like a materialist, then it is Prasangam Ajaram Pasham. Then you are bound by the action that you perform. But if the attachment that you have based on your body and the bodily relations, if that attachment you shift to a Atmana Kaviyo Vido, to a sage or to a saintly person, then there is possibility of getting the doors of liberation open. Many, many beautiful words. There's a long discourse, and Prabhupada is mentioning that Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna. He is also Shakti Avesh Avatar, Kapil Muni. And his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, very detailed philosophy. How the creation happens, how our subtle body works. In the material creation, what comes first is the false ego. The false ego is created. And when the false ego is interacting with the mode of goodness, our mind manifests. And when the false ego interacts with mode of passion, then intelligence manifests. This is how creation begins. How the child takes birth in the womb. That biology is not known even to the medical science. It's detailed in the teachings of Kapil Dev. Later on, another Kapila became famous. But his philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between them. Okay? So we go further. Any questions so far on this four opulences of the Lord? Ashwata Sarva Vrikshana, Dev Rishinam Chanarada, Gandharvanam Chitrata, Siddhanam Kapilo Muni.
And was the grandfather of Devoti?
Grandfather of
Devoti.
Devavati's father is Manu. And who is Manu's father? Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma created how many Manus?
7.
No, don't give a wild guess. And, okay, but it's not a relevant question. More important question is whom did Devahuti give birth to? Whom did she give birth to? Yeah, and who is Kapil Muni? He is the representative of Krishna. He is Krishna himself in his partial expansion. That is most glorious. How much devotion she would be having in her heart that Krishna agrees to appear as the son. Which aspect of bhakti she experienced? Which rasa? Vatsalya, parenthood. The Supreme Lord is so kind that if by devotion, if we want to bind him to become a son, he agrees. That is very glorious. Yes? Huh? Prabhupada is mentioning is an atheistic Kapila. Atheistic means it is not believe in the existence of the Supreme Lord. Huh? Yes, same. Yeah. The Sagaras, the sons of the Sagaras, they committed an offense against him. And they were all burned. And then their forefathers, Bhagirath, what he had to take Ganges there. His ashram was where? Ganga Sagar. So the ashram is at Hermitage is at Ganga Sagar. It's the same company. Ujjay Shravam Ashwanam. Ujjay Shravasam Ashwanam. Vidhi Mama Amritodbhavam. Airavatam Gajendranam. Naranam cha Naradhipa. Ucca Shrevasam Ashwanam. Vidhi Mama Pitodbhavam. Airavatam Gajendranam. Naranam cha Naradhipa. Recite those who did not recite the first verse. Yeah, recite. Ujjay Shravasam Ashwana. Vidhi Amamritodbhavam. Airavatam Gajendranam. Naranam cha Naradhipa. Very good. Good, excellent. Someone else? Ujjay Shravasam Ashwana. Vidhi Mam Amritodbhavam. Airavatam Gajendranam. So he says that amongst the horses, okay, so we saw amongst the mountains, we saw among the trees. So in every species of life, the Supreme Lord is represented. The further he's saying that Ucca Shravasam Ashwanam. Ashwa means the horses. Horses are very, very appealing. They're very beautiful animals. They are strong. They can run and carry. They are used as most of transport also previously and still. The power of the machine is still calculated in horsepower. So amongst all the horses, Krishna said, I am Ucca Shravasam. This horse was obtained from the churning of the ocean. When the ocean was being churned, one side was the demoniacs, the demons, and the other side was the demigods. So when the Milky Ocean was being churned, so many gifts came out. So amongst the gift was this celestial horse, Uchay Shrivasa. So of horses know me to be Uchay Shriva. And he says, Vidhimam Amritodbhava. When the Amrit was being churned, that was that when the ocean was being churned to attain the nectar, so before nectar came out, many more things came out. Some very acceptable, some not so acceptable. What was not acceptable? Poison. When poison came out, it was so deadly that even a drop of it could have created havoc. So Lord Shiva took it. And he did not allow the poison to go down. He held it in his throat. So he became Nilkant. And then also in the churning of the ocean, there was another gift which came, which was Airavatam Gajendra. Yeah, the celestial elephant called Airavat. Both these gifts were given to whom?
Indra.
To the demigods, and the chief of the demigods was Indra. So he obtained it. As Krishna says that Naranam Chanaradhipaha. Adhipa means the king. And amongst the humans, he is the king. So actually, the king or the administrative head is supposed to be the representative of the Supreme Lord. That is why the administrative head must be given all respect, but he must be very qualified. He has to be extremely qualified to become a representative of the Supreme Lord. That is why Krishna, orchestrated this war of Mahabharata. Why? Because who was the king? Dhritarashtra. And he was not representing Krishna. So Krishna wanted Dharmaraj Yudhishthira to be the king because he was the proper representative of Krishna. So leadership role means that you are representing Krishna. Any leadership role means one is representing Krishna. So who can become leader? Those who are pure devotees of Krishna, not otherwise. Otherwise they will create havoc like we see now. The entire world is feeling the strain and heat because of one person's ambition. And what is the result? He has not been able to achieve anything. He is trapped. Because of his exploitative mentality, his coercion, the entire world is suffering. The entire human race. He will be remembered as one of the most demoniac president of the United States. In the last 100 years, never seen such a person to come to such a position. Of horses, know me to be Uchche Shrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavat. And amongst men, I am the monarch. So monarchy is better than democracy. Much better. But the problem is, we don't find the proper monarch. Monarch means he must be representative of the Supreme Court. He should be a Raj Rishi. He should combine the qualities of the king and administrator, and he should also combine the quality of a saintly person, which is a Rishi. We have seen to some extent in the history of independent India, so much India has prospered because we have someone who is showing some reflection, not fully, some reflection of being one who is actually detached. He is not using the power for his personal gain. So the country is flourishing. Very important. In any role of leadership, there should not be even a tinge of selfish interest. If one is detached, then he can do service. Service is only possible with detachment. Okay, let us see the commentary of Srila Prabhupada. The devotee demigods and the demon asuras, one took part in churning the sea. Okay, here, sit and hear. Sit down and hear and read the book. Show him the book. Sit with Ganesh Prabhu. Sit there and see the book. See, read. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiva drank the poison. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Uche Shrava. Another animal produced from the nectar was elephant named Airavat. Because these two animals were produced from nectar, they have special significance. They were representatives of Krishna. Amongst the human being, the king is the representative of Krishna because Krishna is the maintainer of the universe. And the king who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications are maintainer of their kingdoms. Kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Parikshit, and Lord Ram were highly righteous kings. So everyone wants Ram Rajya. But how can Ram Rajya come? Without Ram? Not possible. This is the problem. Mahatma Gandhi also wanted Ram Rajya. But where is Lord Ram to have Ram Rajya? So we should have the leader who is really qualified, who has the character and the selfless attitude to do service. That is very much important. In today's world, we see what it is called nepotism. Nepotism. If one family becomes a leader in any capacity, he will bring the entire family. What is he doing? Service? Or he is running a private business? And we are so foolish, we still elect such people as leaders. The Prabhupada is saying that the kings who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications are maintainer of their kingdoms. And Prabhupada is quoting the name of Maharaj Yudhishthir, Parikshit, and Lord Ram, were all highly righteous kings who always thought of their citizens' welfare. In Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative of God. He is called Naradevaha. The king is the Naradeva, or the administrative head of the country is the representative of the Supreme Lord. You see, this principle was so much followed that 500 years back in Bengal, the king was Nawab Hussain Shah. He was one of the prominent kings, or Nawab. And Bengal was very prosperous. 500 years back, Bengal was most prosperous. That is why we see the East India Company, the Britishers, they did not enter through Delhi or Mumbai. They came through Calcutta. They first wanted to take charge of Calcutta. So Nawab Hussain Shah was the king, but he was very, very demoniac person. But amongst all his demoniac quality, he had one good quality. To run the administration, because he was Muslim and mostly the citizens were all Hindus. So there was always a struggle and rift, and he had an ambition to annex many more provinces in his capital, on his country. So he appointed two personalities as his chief administrators, who were Lord Chaitanya's devotees. He appointed Srila Sanatan Goswami to be the Prime Minister, and he appointed Srila Rup Goswami to be the Finance Minister. Because they were very capable and they were loved by the public. So he said, both of you run the show. You take care of my capital and country and people. And finance minister, you bring revenue and fill my treasure. And what I will do, then I can focus in trying to win other kingdoms. And if you don't work for me and don't do what I tell you, then I will kill all the Hindus. So, because of his extortion and to give some relief, so both of them were there working with him. But they never wanted to continue working with them. Once Srila Sanatana Goswami stopped going to him, Rupa Goswami left him and went to Vrindavan on the order of Lord Chaitanya. And Sanatana Goswami stopped going to his court to do the official duties. And so one day he came himself to see where is Sanatan? Why is he not doing his service to me? And when he came to the house of Sanatan Goswami gave him all respect because he was the representative of Supreme Lord, Naradeva. Although he did not agree with him on his extreme desire to rule over the others by extortion or by exploitation, but respect is given. So whoever is representative, he must be qualified. So it is our duty to select qualified representative. And if we don't have, then we will suffer collectively. Don't worry, it will come. This failure is no failure. If you see the situation of our neighboring countries everywhere, we are much more better. Here in India, have we curtailed anything? Have we done any correction in our life? Nothing. We are living as if nothing has happened. In Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative of God. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and is now finally abolished. Monarchy is good if we have a qualified person. What is democracy? Democracy means it is only populism. It is not purity. And whoever comes in power, he abuses it. It is understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under a righteous king. So the greatest benediction is to have a good leader. If we have a good leader, then in any situation of life, what we can see, he can guide us through. He can sail us through all the ups and downs of material existence. So Krishna has mentioned here in this verse that amongst the horses he is Uche Shrava, amongst the elephant he is Gajendra. There is the story of Gajendra in Srimad Bhagavatam also. Gajendra Moksha. And Lord Krishna, in the form of Vishnu, personally comes to rescue him. If the Supreme Lord can come to rescue an elephant, why not a human being? But the problem is we don't call him. We don't connect with him. I want to take one more verse. You are there comfortable. Everyone has a mobile phone. So please use it. Ayudhanam aham vajram. Dhenunam asmi kamadhog. Prajanaschaśmi kandarpa. Sarpanam asmi vasuki. Ayudhanam aham vajram. Henunam asmi kamadho prajanascha kandarpa sarpanam asmi vasuki. Recite.
Ayudhanam aham vajram.
Vaham vajram.
Dhenunam asmi kamuduk.
Asmi kamadho
Prajanas kasmi kandarpa.
prajanascha kandarpa
Sarpanam asmi vasuki.
sarpanam asmi vasuki. Recite those who are not recited. Ayudhanam aham
Dhenunam asmi kamadu.
Dhenunam asmi kamadho
Prajanas kasmi kandarpa.
prajanascha kandarpa So Ayudhanam aham vajram. So among Ayudh means the weapons, the artillery. You see this weapon? It is Vajra. And this Vajra was so powerful. The thunderbolt. Vajra was the thunderbolt. If this weapon was released, even mountains were decimated to dust. And he says, Dhenunam asmi kamadhu. Dhenunam is amongst the cows, he is kamadhu. The well-wishing, desire well-wishing cows of the spiritual world. That is Surabhi cow. And he says, Prajanas chasmi kandarpa. Kandarpa is Cupid. What Cupid does? It invokes lust. It binds the living entity with lust. But he says that amongst the attack of Cupid, I am Prajanaha. That the cause of having sex is to beget good children. Krishna says, Prajanas chasmi kandarpa. Before also he has said in the 7th chapter. What did he say? Dharma virodho bhutesho kamo asmi bharatarishubha. And he says that amongst the sarpanam asmi vasuki. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Of course, before we see, Krishna has already said that he represents himself as Devanam asmi Vasava. In the 22nd verse, he has said that among the demigods, I am Indra. So how Indra is representation of Krishna? Because Indra is having all those emanations to represent Krishna. What are those? Huh?
King also, king also.
Sorry?
He's having all this, like Airavat.
Yes, very good. He is having Airavat.
Vajra.
Honor.
His Ayudha also, Vajra is also.
Vajra. This Ayudha is also Vajra. He rides on Airavat. And he also has the horse Uchcheshrava. Yes. The thunderbolt indeed is a mighty weapon, represent Krishna's power. In Krishna, you know how this Vajra is made of? There's a beautiful story in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah.
Proper saints bone.
Yeah. What is the name of that sage? Dadichi. 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 Once Indra was fighting with one of the very powerful personality who appeared in the demoniac descent, being descended, but he was very divine. What is his name? Vrittasura. 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 He was a pure devotee of the Lord. So in pure devotee of the Lord, nothing works. Indra was not able to overcome his prowess. He was defeated. So he then goes to praise to Brahma, and Brahma goes and prays to Vishnu. And the Supreme Lord said that you will not be able to win over him because he is my pure devotee. But I can give you one solution. That if you go to this sage, Dadichi, and ask him for his bones, because he has performed such austerity for so long, he is so pure. Because of the purity, he has such power. And if that you utilize to make a thunderbolt, then Vritasura will be killed. So it is only under the advice of Krishna that Indra is able to continue his kingdom. So this is Vritasura's weapon. So Krishna gave this, the Lord Supreme Lord gave him this solution and he uses it. In Krishna Lok, in the spiritual sky, there are cows which can be milked at any time. That is why they are called Kamadhuk. If you keep cows, then you can only milk them at certain interval. And they will give milk only to some extent, not unlimited as much as you desire. But these are Kamadhenu cows. Kamadhenu cows means whatever you desire, they will give. They can be milked at any time and they give as much as milk as one likes. And Prabhupada says, of course, such cow does not exist in the material world. Because everyone will desire to have one cow without wanting to serve the cow, but only to get the benefits of the cows. But there is mention of them in Krishna Lok. The Lord gives many such cows, which are called Surabhi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding this Surabhi cow. What is the verse in Brahma Samhita? Surabhi Abhipalayantam.
लक्ष्मी सहस्र शतसाम्भ्रम सुजनम
Ah,
गोविंदमादि पुरुषं तमोहं
yes, Govindam Adi Purusham. So he is always tending the cows. Cows are very, very dear to Krishna's. Namo Brahmane Devaya, Go Brahmane Hitayachan. So amongst the cow, he is the Surabhi cow called Kamadhu. And Kandarpa is the sex desire for presenting good sons. So Kandarpa, as I said, is the Cupid or the sex desire. What is the purpose of sex desire? Is to have good progeny. Only for progeny. Kandarpa is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Sex does not represent Krishna. But sex for generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. This is very important. I was hearing that Lord Ram's advent was yesterday, Ram Navami. So previously in the Treta Yuga, the lifespan was very long. Maharaj Darshat, you know how much lifespan he had? Huh? 60,000 years. 60,000 years. If he was getting married at 15 and he was having son at 16, Ram would also be 60,000 years. Isn't it? Naturally. Yes or no? Huh? But what they did, they had this great control. When Dashrath gave birth to Lord Ram, when he became 60,000 year old. Cannot even imagine. Lord Ram gave birth to Love and Kush after 10,000 years. Who said that? You said. Oh, yes, she heard. She heard yesterday. Jitendra Prabhu was speaking, yeah? After 10,000 years. Why they had sex? To have good progeny. Just imagine. So once one Prabhupada disciple came and asked Prabhupada, then if we have to have sex only for creating children, then why should I marry? Huh? Marriage is not for having sex like cats and dogs. The purpose is to have good progeny, to have qualified children. And how the qualified children will come? When the mother and father are qualified. Otherwise, you see what is happening today. It is called Varna Sankara. Unwanted population. People have lost the trust in the institution of marriage and more so in having children. If you see world over, in the western part of the world, the government gives special incentive if one lady agrees to become mother. They don't want to become mother. Why? Because there is no such principle in that society. Forget now India also. India is also completely polluted. India also does not follow any principle. Indians are more corrupt as compared to the Westerners. No one wants to follow any principle. And then we are complaining why we are suffering. The Prabhupada says, sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. Otherwise, what is the representation? Is only lust. Okay, I'll stop here. And if there are any questions or queries or inquiries, please ask. Yes. Go to the car and bring the prasad. Okay. Nitin will help you. Oh, you have a question? I hope it is good.
Father or father?
Why you are, I wanted to know the father. Who was Kashyapuri's son? Indra. Okay. From which wife? Indra. Aditi. Okay. And who else?
Vaman.
Yes.
Sanan.
Huh?
Sanan or
Saran.
Sanan.
Saran, no. Not Saran. No.
Violet.
Okay, wait. Don't speculate. Yeah, what is your question?
I had a question regarding the age of people in the yoga.
The Yuga and the ages. Yes. If you see the present Yuga, this is called Kali Yuga. The age span is maximum 100 years. Average age is not even 100 years, it is less than that. If you see the previous year, Yuga, it is multiplied by 10. So it becomes how many years? 1000. If you go before, it is 10,000. And if you go to the Sata Yuga, it is 100,000. The lifespan was much more. Because four principles were intact. Why the age is being reduced? Because of sinful activity. The more we engage in sinful activity, the result is that our age is deteriorated. four pillars of religion, which is Satya, truthfulness. Second is austerity, which is tapa. Third is daya, which is mercy. What is the fourth one? Saucham, which is cleanliness. But in Kali Yuga, all four have been compromised. You don't want to observe even one. What is the point? If you become 100 years, it will be such a big curse. None of your bodily limbs are going to support you. And who in the family is going to serve you? Is there anyone to serve? I have my friend, one of my good friends. He is in Mumbai. His father reached 100 and his mother also reached 90 plus, 98 almost. And the good part was that all their body parts were working. They did not need someone as a permanent help. What is the part in living long? What is the contribution? If there is some contribution, then one should be given the extension of life. What is the contribution to the society? What is the welfare that one is, adding, or how he himself is elevating to perfection? The two things. The person should elevate to perfection and should inspire others to do that. Then there is point in living. Otherwise, it is only a burden. There are many trees which have, there are redwood trees in America. Have you heard? What is the lifespan? Thousands of years. What is the point?
The quality will improve of the land.
Huh?
The quality of the redwood will improve.
Quality of the redwood?
Will improve if it is long then.
How does it matter to us? Does it improve your life? If they live for thousands of years, does it improve anyone's life? Does it bring any welfare in our life? More important, what is the point? Otherwise, we are the breathing of the bellows of the blacksmith. Srimad Bhagavatam condemns such lifespan. What is the point in living? If you are not contributing, then what is the point in living? You raise your hand?
Then was the son of Prahlad?
Huh?
Was the son of Prahlad?
Who is the son of Prahlad? Who knows the answer? You know about Bali Maharaj?
Then Badri Maharaj, grandson of
Very good. Very good. Okay, then find out.
Fact about the Bali Maharaj. Actually, the Bali Maharaj was not in demoniac nature. The Indra killed his father because he was treating him in goodness and in divineness.
See, it is not for sure that the parents are inherited by the children. It is all possibility that in a divine family, mother and father are all both devotee, and there can be a son or a daughter who is non-devotee. And it is also possible that in a demoniac family, there can be a divine personality. But that exception is very rare. It is like getting a diamond in the mine of a coal. How many diamonds you receive? Very few. So what matters? Two things. Is good association. Very, very important is association. Whom we are associating. That will transform. And after with the association, how much we take advantage of it. Up to us. When there is good monsoon, not every field will give the same productivity. It is never there. So it is the fault of the rain. Whose fault it is? Not the soil. The person has to prepare the soil. If the soil is not prepared, even the rains will not do the sufficient produce will not be there. So it depends on individual, everyone. Krishna is telling Yajnanam Japa Yajyo Asmi. How much effect we are having? We're not accepting. We're still persisting with our own opinion. Spirituality means what? What happened after hearing Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna? Arjuna gave up his own opinion. Krishna desired of him. But Dhritarashtra could not change his opinion. Could Dhritarashtra change his opinion? He did not change. What benefit he got from Bhagavad Gita? Nothing. Nothing. So it depends on what is the position of our heart. It is very important to clean the heart. And how you have to clean is only one detergent. That is the Mahamantra detergent. No other detergent will work. You try. So you apply. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Anyone on online wants to have any question? Agar those who are hearing online, any query or question? You have a question? Okay.
Prabhuji,
Ucheshwara.
Ucheshwara is, Krishna says, amongst the horses. Because he is giving how he is all pervading. So amongst all these species, one of the species is horses. And horses are very attractive. Yeah, because of their power, of their abilities. So he says among the horses I am Ucheshwara. That horse which came out of the churning, yeah, from the nectar. And this horse is of the demigods. And it is possessed by Indra. So he is one of the representative of Krishna. If we see horse, then we should remember Krishna. This is the purpose. Why Krishna is giving all this vibhutis? Yeah, one question is coming from Supriya Madam. Lord Ram went to Vana for 14 years. I have read in Valmiki Ramayana myself. It is 14 years, not 14,000 years. But that 14 years for Ayodhya Vasi was even more than 14,000 years. Because they were lamenting in separation. But for us, there is no lamentation. Hare Krishna. Okay, we have prasadam for all of you. Please join.
What is Sankhya Yoga?
Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means analytical study.
Logic.
Analytical, yeah, logical. Of what? The distinction between matter and spirit. Sankhya.
It is different from Bhakti Yoga.
No, it is a part of Bhakti Yoga. The part of Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya means, Bhakti Yoga means to come to the spiritual part. But how do you come to the spiritual part if you cannot delineate between what is spiritual and material? Most of the people, they are thinking material to be spiritual. We meet so many people, they tell me, I am also practicing spirituality. I said, very good. So what do you do? Then they have no reply. On their own, they are imagining their perception to be spiritual perception. But where is spirituality in their life? If the perception of Krishna enters our life, then spirituality can begin. If we continue with our own perception and own conception, then where is spirituality? There is no scope. So there is analytical delineation between matter and spirit. Prabhupada talks about it. Sankhya Yoga Prathakmala. Pravadanti na Vapaspita. It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. This is in the 3rd chapter. I'll tell you the verse. Prabhupada talks about it in the purport also. third chapter, verse number 3. ज्ञान योगेन सांख्यानाम कर्म योगेन योगिनाम. You can read this verse, and if you have any difficulty, we can discuss. Hare Krishna. Let us proceed. What did you learn today? Rangi? What did you hear? Hare Krishna.